Hey guys, it's Alexa here, and today I would like to take you through the beginner Pilates mat sequence. Now, as with any form of exercise, please make sure that there is no medical or any other reason for why you shouldn't be exercising. And if you're in any doubt, please make sure you consult with your doctor or physician first. For today's workout, all you'll need is your mat and your body. So when you're ready, join me. Start by laying down on your mat. Take a deep breath in, exhale, centering yourself in your body and in your mat. One of the most important aspects of Pilates is your breath. You want to make sure you have a strong connection to your breath before you even start to do any of the exercises. Take another breath in, nice and full into the whole torso, and then exhale, squeeze all that breath out. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. When you first start Pilates, the most important thing is just to keep a nice, smooth breath through all the exercises and to never hold your breath. The first exercise we're going to start with, or the first exercise of the beginner mat sequence, is the 100. Reach your arms all the way to your feet and hug the inner thighs together. On your exhale, curl up to look into the abdominals, lift the arms to hip height, and start to pump those arms. If you can, you lift the legs as well, inhaling for a 5 count and exhaling for a 5 count. Here's 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out 2, 3. Hug those abdominals in more and more with every exhale. If having the head up is too much for your neck, just let the head come back down. Really hug your rib cage in. Last 2 cycles of breath. Pull everything into that center. Last 1. Pause the arms. Roll up a little bit more. And then bring everything in. Give yourself a well-deserved rock side to side, holding on behind the backs of your thighs. Rock it up into a seated position and bring your feet flat onto the floor. Where the feet land, they stay. We're going to start with the half roll down, sitting up nice and tall. On your exhale, bring your chin to your chest, nose towards your navel, and roll back like you're trying to pull the lower back to the floor. Exhale. Come all the way back up and in, sitting up tall at the end. Bring your chin to chest, nose to navel. Inhale to go back, lengthening the arms in the process. Exhale, pull those abdominals in to come up. Really hug the inner thighs together. Let's do one more like this, just to kind of bring some mobility into the spine and fire up that core just a little bit more. Sitting up tall at the end. Now you're going to roll all the way down to the mat, and we'll see if we can do a full roll up and roll down 2 times. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Hug the shoulder blades into the rib cage. Stretch through the heels, pressing down into the mat underneath you with the legs. And as you exhale, look up and over into the abdominals. Reach even further. Keep pressing your feet down as much as you can. Reach past the toes if possible. The abdominals pull back. And we're going to take that same roll, reversing it back down to the mat. Your hamstrings hug all the way into the floor under you. Last one, rolling up. Woo. Pull the abdominals in deeply. Roll up, reach for the toes, and then roll it down. Bone by bone by bone. The inner thighs hug together and together and together as you roll down. Bring the arms to the side, and let's go into the single or one leg circle. The right leg comes into the chest. Give it a good hug. You want to feel a little stretch across the pelvis. Front heel is pushing down into the ground, and we reach the right leg up to the ceiling. Now 5 times, we take the leg across the body, around in a circle, pull from the abs to come back in. 2, around and back in. 3, around and back in. 4, keep the whole body stable as you circle. 5 in this direction. Good. And reverse it. 1, whew, 2. Now the challenge in the beginning is sometimes to keep the leg coming all the way home. So make sure you close your circle each time. Last 2, around, across, and in. Last 1, around, across, and in, and then hug that leg back into the body before extending the leg out in front of you. Left leg pulls in. Reach through your right heel. Reach those left toes up to the ceiling. Really engage in your core as you take the leg across, around, and back in. Now, if you have clicking in the hip, you make your circle a little smaller. Really focus on where the movement is coming from. Last 2, good. Across, around, and in. Last 1, and bring it in. Reverse that. Out to the side, across, and in. 2. Close your circle. 3, and in. 4, across and in. Last 1, take it across and in. And then hug that leg into the body. Get a nice stretch. Bring both legs into the chest, and let's roll it up into a seated position again, going into rolling like a ball. Hug around your shins. Round into the legs as much as you can. Now, if holding on to the shins is too much, you can always hold on behind the thighs as well. But the idea is to make a ball-like shape and to keep that ball shape throughout the whole exercise. Suction the abdominals in and use that suction to pull back, rock up into that seated position. Pull back, inhaling, use the abdominals, pull in deeper to come up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, exhale. The feet come back down. We can shift back a little bit, and we're going to go straight into the series of 5. The right leg comes into the chest. The left leg extends out. Roll back onto your mat. Let the left leg reach out in front of you. And pull the right leg in closer. Really focus on the abdominals pulling in. And switch. And like I said, if the neck ever comes into any of these exercises, let the head just rest back down. Pull, pull, and switch. Pull, pull, switch. Pull, pull, switch. Pull, pull. Now, another thing to pay attention to is your extended leg dropping instead of reaching. You're reaching out. So if you notice, my leg is not just going all the way to the floor, it's trying to touch. If there was a wall there, it would be trying to touch the wall in front of me. Last one, bring both knees into the chest, let the head come down, take a little rest there. And let's do 5 double leg stretches. Again, we curl up, look into the abdominals. On the first couple, I'm going to reach the arms along with the legs, maybe even hold onto the thighs, and then hug it back in. Reach long, hold on, pull the abdominals in, and then bring it back in. And if you find that strength, you can reach back behind you, circle around, hug it in. 2 more. Reach long, circle around, bring it in. Last one, circle around, bring it in, hug it, and let the head rest again. The legs are going to go up to the ceiling. Hold on close or as close as you can to your right ankle. The left leg is going to reach back out to 45, but you'll notice that my inner thighs stay centered. So there's no falling out to the side when you reach your extended leg. Curl up to look into the abdominals if you can. Extend your left leg a little bit more. Try to create space in that hip. Pull the top leg closer and switch. Again, keep the legs in the center line. We're not dropping that extended leg to the floor. We are reaching across the room. Switch. 4 more. Pull, 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 pull. Pull, pull. Good. Pull, pull. Last 2 sets. Pull it in. Switch. Pull it. Last one. Pull it in. Bring the head down. Take a rest if you need it. Interlace your hands and take them behind the head. Now, I'll give you an option for this one, actually. You can place your hands underneath your hips if you notice once you start the exercise that your low back cannot support that lower and lift of the legs. And as always, keep your movements smaller if you need to. Hands interlaced behind the head. Bring your chin to your chest. Lower the legs down. Pull in from your abdominals to bring them back. Lower the legs, pull them in. Lower and pull in. Last 3, pull it in. 2, We're never going so far that the shape of our spine changes. I think one more for good measure. Ooh, I got a bug. And bring it in, and let's go straight into the crisscross. Take opposite elbow to opposite knee and switch. Your other leg can extend out, but you want to cross over as far as you can. Keep your elbows as far apart as possible. Cross and switch. Last 4, 3, 2. Again, you're stretching that leg away from you, and then bring it in. Well-deserved rock side to side. If you weren't warm, you should be by now. Hold on behind the thighs. Roll it up into a seated position. Take the legs out in front of you. I know my hair is a mess at the moment. There's no barber shops open, and I didn't know I would miss my barber as much as I do, but I guess this period too shall pass. All right, reach through the heels, pull your toes in towards you. You want to suction the abdominals in and reach the tailbone down in preparation for the spine stretch forward. The arms are going to reach out in front of you. Pull back from the abdominals and imagine you have $1 million in front of your feet and you're trying to reach that money. But the tailbone is pulling back into the mat. Now pull in even deeper, stack the spine to sit up. Good. Reach forward, relax those shoulders, pull in, stack the spine. Here's 3, chin to chest, nose to navel, reach, 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 stack the spine to come up. Here's 2, stack the spine, pull the abdominals back. The head grows tall at the end, so you want to imagine that with each rep, you are growing taller. Good. And I'm going to do the open leg rocker prep with you. This is in some of the beginner system series, and it's not in others, but I think it's a really good challenge for your hip stability, and just to kind of check whether we need to work more on the hips. So the first thing we're going to do is lift the feet off the floor. Now, if you feel uncomfortable with both legs off, drop one leg down and switch sides. Good. But if you can, bring both legs off the floor. If this feels pretty good and you're stable, extend one leg as much as you can and then pull the heel in. And then extend the other leg as much as you can, pull the leg in. And remember, if any exercise is not working out for you, you can skip that for now and just work towards it. Let's do one more on each side where we reach the toes up, pull them in, get taller as you reach, pull in. And now the grand finish here for the prep is to reach both legs up, pull the abdominals in, sit up nice and tall, bring the inner thighs together, roll down bone by bone until you're back down on the mat. Let me center myself again. And let's go into the corkscrew. Now look to your feet, and if you see my feet, you might not be able to see from that angle, but they're in a very narrow V position. The heels are pressing together. Your knees don't have to be straight, but you still want to be extending into your toes. Pull the abdominals in deeply. Take your legs over to the right side until your left hip gently lifts off the floor. Circle the legs around to the front, across to the left, and pause where you started. Pull the abdominals in deeper. And now let's reverse that. Left, around, right, pull in, stop. 3 more times. Right, around, left, and in. Left, around, right, and in. 2 more. Around, left, and in. Left, around. Use the abdominals to pull the legs back into center. The arms are pressing down. The shoulders are grounding. You're trying to move the legs against the stability of your torso and your core. So you're really pulling the abdominals in as much as you can. And the legs just come back into the center, and we hug those knees back into the chest. Hold on behind your thighs and rock it up into a seated position. The feet are going to come out a little wider than your mat, and let's find our saw. Now this exercise is called the saw because we're twisting. Let's twist to the left to start. So twist to the left. Take your right pinky finger and imagine you're trying to saw off that toe, but you're looking back to your left hand. Reach, reach, reach. Pull from the abdominals to sit back up. Try to keep your hips grounded as you reach, 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 and sit back up. Now, from a core perspective, you are wringing out your core as you reach your pinky finger past your toe. Pull from your core to sit up tall. Reach, slice off your pinky toe if you can, and sit up tall. The whole time your shoulders are spread from your neck, and you're working to fuel that movement from your core more than your shoulders. Let's do one more set. Twist, reach, pull back, sit up tall. Twist, reach, pull back, and sit up tall. Good work. Rolling over onto our bellies for the saw. And we'll do a little, or did I say saw? I meant swan. I'm sorry about that. So next exercise in the order is the swan. You're going to take your hands, stack one on top of the other. If you can, the inner thighs hug together, the tops of the feet push down into the mat underneath you. But if this hurts your lower back, just separate the feet a little bit. All right, forehead onto your hands. Let me adjust my mic a little bit. And we're going to just lift the elbows a hairline off the mat. Keep your hands, or keep the forehead glued into that little pillow that you've created with your hands. Pull your abdominals off your mat as if you're trying to shine a light underneath you. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Find a lift through the spine and exhale, lower down. Now this movement is tiny. It is so small. We don't want to dump any of it into the lower back. You want to lengthen out through the crown of the head, stretch the feet away from you. It's almost like you're growing longer more than you're growing higher, and lower back down. Good. Two more. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, lower. Find the muscles in your upper back or thoracic spine and use them. This is our last one. Inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, lowering back down. Nice. You deserve a little rest. Press up and reach the hips back and come forward. And let's do, the next variation or the next progression of the swan is just to bring the hands into the side of the body. Hug your elbows in, almost like you're trying to hug your rib cage with your elbows. Lengthen through the back of the neck and pull the abdominals in so much that it feels like they're trying to lift your torso off the floor. And now lengthen and lower down. Let's do that one more time. Sometimes it's nice to float the hands off the mat, pull the shoulder blades back, find that lift, and the hands just give you that last little push, and we lower all the way down. Next exercise is the single leg kick. There's several ways to do this again, and you can either have your hands at shoulders width apart with your fist pressing down, and sometimes it's nice to kind of push the fists into one another because that helps to really connect with the muscles of the back and stabilize. But you do the version that works best for you today. Press your hips into the mat, pull your belly away from the floor, and pull your right heel into your backside. Kick it, and reach back. Kick left, reach back. Kick, reach back. Kick, reach back. My feet sometimes cramp on these. If that's happening, take a little break. Keep those fists pressing. Keep that belly pulling in. Last two sets. Good. Come closer with your heel if you can. Stretch your quad. Pull the belly off the mat. And you are done. Again, take a little stretch back. Just taking an active rest position. It's very different from child's pose in yoga because we're pulling the abdominals in and we're rounding over the legs, not collapsing into them. But take that little rest stretch, active stretch, and we're going to come into the pelvic lift. Come to a seated position and lay all the way back down onto your mat. In an ideal situation, your inner thighs are together, but I know in the beginning that can be really hard on the lower back, so it's okay to separate the legs, but then, over time, you work them a little bit closer together. Arms are long by the side of the body. Now, without lifting your hips, I want you to think about pushing down through your mat as much as you can, but the hips are still grounded. You should feel your inner thighs come in. Maybe you already feel some engagement in your glutes, and you definitely start to feel your back and hopefully your core kicking in as well. Make sure you're really established here. Now, a lot of times when I see people do pelvic lift, there's this desire to throw the rib cage up. I want you to do the opposite today. Pull the ribs down to the mat and see if you can lift your tailbone up. So even though there will be some lift of the ribs, you're trying to resist it as much as you can. And this usually means that your pelvis will not come up quite as high as you mentally know it can, but you hopefully find more of your inner thighs and your glutes, and that's where we want to be. Push your feet through the floor, pull the abdominals in, work your glutes and your inner thighs, and now from your upper back, pull into the mat. The mid back pulls into the mat, and the tailbone is the very last thing to come back down. Let's do that again. Roll the hips up from the tailbone, keep the rib cage pulling in, press the arms down, really feel your glutes and inner thighs, and now upper back, middle back, beautiful, lower back. We have 3 more of those. Rolling up from the tailbone, lifting those hips, find your glutes, keep the ribs hugging down to the mat, and then roll down. Upper back, middle back, and lower back. 2 more. Tailbone lifts. We pick up from the core. We find our glutes and inner thighs, and we roll back down. I'm so bad with counting. Let's do 2 more. Or is it 1 more? I don't know. I might have thrown in a few extra there. Lift it up and roll it down. Get longer on each one. So really think about lengthening the spine each time. Pick up from your core, find your glutes, press the arms down, press the shoulders down, and on this last one, we hold for 5 seconds. Here's 1, squeeze those inner thighs. 2, don't let them separate. 3, reach the tailbone longer to the heels. 4, and 5. Now, hopefully you found out that you don't have to lift super high to find your butt. Even just a little bit off the floor, it starts to really kick it. And now we move on to our side kick series. You're going to lay down on your mat, let's start with the right leg on top. Left side is down, and you want to line up with the back edge of your mat. Now, you do have the option to rest your head on your arm. If it hurts your neck, to support your head with your hand. Top arm comes in front of your belly, just for a little bit more support. You're gonna lift your legs and bring them towards the front corner of the mat. So if you look at your body, it almost looks like this V shape. It looks like a gentle V. Hips are stacked. That is key to this exercise. Really want to avoid rolling open so that the hip flexor can take over from the butt. And the body is really skilled at doing that. It's skilled at not making those big muscles work. Top hand is down, belly is pulling in. Reach your top leg longer than your bottom leg. You might start to feel a lift underneath your side waist. And we're going to start with the front and back kick. So the leg comes up to hip height. Point your toes, kick the leg forward, pull back. Now in the beginning, all we want to do is stabilize our body against those kicks. So try to keep your torso still, or as still as possible, as you reach forward and pull back and back. Last 2, forward, pull back. Last 1, pull it back. Bring the legs back, one on top of the other. Reestablish the length of that top leg for the lift and lower. You're going to lift the leg up, reach longer to lower down. I like to point and flex. Point the toes, flex to lower. Last 2, get longer and longer through that top leg. And now circle around the sides of your foot. With every circle, hug the inner thighs more, pull the abdominals in deeper. Circle. And again, circle. Good. And again, circle. Last 2. Last 1. Close your circle each time. And reverse. Other way. Circle. Really focus on the back end of the movement and your glute picking the leg up and circling it. Last 3. Here's 2. Reach through that heel. Get longer through the leg. Last 1. I might have given you an extra there too. All right. You can take a break, a little stretch if you need it. Otherwise, we bend the top leg, place the foot down onto the floor. And now imagine somebody is pushing this knee back. So you're opening through the hip and the front body versus collapsing into it. Lengthen out through the crown of the head. Reach through your bottom heel. Now lift the leg up with the inner thigh. Stretch it longer to lower. Lift. Stretch it longer to lower. The whole time your top knee is pressing back. Lift and stretch. So the reason why Pilates is linked to flexibility is because of exercises like this. We're working all those small muscles around your hip joint, and when those start to strengthen and stabilize the joint, the body can move more freely because now it has the strength to do so. Last two, good. Last one. Rest the leg and then make little circles here. Reach. And I want you to almost just swipe the floor with your foot. So we're not aiming for too high. We're aiming for length. After 5, you reverse it. 1, good. 2, lift from your glute. 3, 4, 5. And then bring yourself in. Roll over onto your belly, and you can roll over to the other side. For the sake of facing the camera, I'm just going to swing around and take it to the other direction. Hopefully the sun doesn't kill me. Remember, take your body to the back edge of the mat, or take your torso to the back edge of the mat. The feet come to the front edge. Might have to close my eyes here, guys, because this sun is no joke. All right. Top hand comes in front of the body. Reach forward with your top leg. So make your top waist as long as possible. Lift the leg up to hip height. And let's go with those front and back kicks first. Go forward, pull back. Good. Stabilize that torso. Pull back. Forward, pull back. Bottom foot presses down. Keep those hips stacked. So really resist the hips rolling open with the leg. Last 2, pull back. Last 1, pull back. Feet stack, one on top of the other. Point those toes to lift, lengthen to lower. Point and lengthen. Point, flex the foot, lengthen through the heel. Last 2, last 1. Good. Little circles, 5 in each direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reverse. Other way. 1, 2, pull the abs in deeper. 3, 4, 5. Good work. All right. Moving on into the teaser. I will turn it around just so I'm not looking in the sun the whole time. And we're going to come to a seated position with our inner thighs together. So really find that hug of the inner thighs. Again, I find the teaser is something that you can work on through a lifetime. So I'm going to take you through, just a few teaser preparation exercises, and you decide if you want to go into the full teaser today. Inner thighs hug, press the feet down. We're going to start by lengthening out one leg. Pull back until you feel your core, and just reach the arms out. Keep your gaze on the leg. Try to lift your waist off your, lift your ribs off your waist, and then bring the foot down. And then other side. Reach, pull the abdominals in, lift those ribs off the waist, and bring the foot down. Reach it out, pull in, and drop. Again. Reach one leg at a time, and one leg is absolutely fine. And now if you can, you reach both legs out, sit up taller, bring the feet down, take a moment to rest. Pull back from the abdominals. Reach long with the feet. Good. Lengthen your waist and bring it down. Sit up. So you see I'm still holding on with the hands on these one. In the beginning, it's fine to hold on with the hands if you need that support. But over time, you want to roll back slightly, reach so you're sitting just off your tailbone. Hands reach to the feet, grow taller through the spine, and bring the legs down, lower. Let's do one more just like that. Pull it back, reach the feet, sit tall, lift your ribs off your waist, and then bring the feet down. Good. Take a well-deserved cycle of breath. We're going to go into the swimming just as a counterbalance for that teaser. So roll over onto your belly again. Reach the arms out nice and long. Hopefully you guys, I'm still in frame and you guys can see my hands. The forehead comes to the floor. This is one I like to be really gentle with, especially if you have any issues going on in the back. So I'm going to start with just one leg lifting and lowering, and then the other. And we can lift one arm and then the other. So you can keep this in the arms or the legs only if you need to. All right, but if you're ready, we're going to lift opposite arm to leg. Stretch out as far as you can, lower down. Lift opposite arm, so the other side, left arm, right leg, lower. Right arm, left leg. It's always opposite arm to leg is lifting and stretching and lowering. And you really want to think about length. When you're ready, lengthen, and maybe you lift the head as well, as long as you can keep your belly pulling in. If you feel this in your lower back, make that movement smaller. Lengthen, good. Now you want to stimulate this movement from the muscles of your back, all those muscles that support your spine. Last 2 like this, and then maybe we pick up the pace. You can keep the head up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome work. Reach those hips back, round in, and bring yourself forward. Just a quick active rest. Going into our Serratus push-ups. Now for the Serratus push-ups, you're coming down to the forearms. If you're good with a regular push-up, you can do that too. But this is really nice for beginners, and I think it's a really nice option for people with wrist issues who cannot do push-ups. We're just going to let the shoulders depress between the arms, and then pull the shoulder blades apart to lift back up. Lower and lift. And now you'll notice my knees are down. You can keep them down if you need to. But if you want to activate just a little more, lift the knees off, lower, and lift. Lower. Don't drop the belly too much. So really pay attention to where your energy or where your movement is coming from. You want to keep your hips in line with the shoulders as much as you can the whole time. Last one. And bring your knees down. And take that stretch again. We are almost done with our sequence. We're going to go into our side bend prep and then mermaid. So the last couple of exercises here. If you're still with me, well done. Otherwise, just know that Pilates is a lifelong journey. You can take as long as you need to work into the sequence and the exercises. The next exercise we're doing is the side bend prep. You're going to come down to a seated position with your knees just in front of or just out in front of your hips, and your shins stacked one on top of the other. And there's no perfect distance here. You roughly want to be able to rest your hand on your knee or your shin, wherever is most comfortable. Now hug your inner thighs together, pull the abdominals in, make sure your hand is just slightly forward of your shoulder or in line with the shoulder. So really want to pay attention to the hand not being behind us. And we're going to pull up from the abdominals, lift, and reach long with that top arm. And then lower all the way down. Good. Inhale, lift, reach, pull the side waist up, press your feet or press your shins down to the mat and lower. Let's do one more in this direction. Inhale, lift, reach, 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 reach. Maybe you take your gaze slightly upwards and then all the way down. Stretch just a little bit more and lower all the way. Good job. Take the legs up and over, and let's move on into the other side. So you're going to stack your shins if you can. And again, we're going to just space ourselves so that our shins are one on top of the other, and we have a gentle rest of the hand on those shins or the knee. Take your hand slightly forward of your shoulder, pull the abdominals in, and then start to lift the hips. Reach up and over, really find that stretch in the side body, lower all the way down. Good. Inhale, reach, 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 pull the abdominals in, and lower all the way down. Last 2, reach, press the floor away from you as you reach. Find that glorious side stretch. Last 1, but find the engagement in your core too. Reach as far as you can. You can take your gaze up slightly and then rotate to look all the way down to your hand. Give the floor that last little press. Reach just a little bit more and lower the hips down. Now it's time for the mermaid. You're going to take your hands and hold on over your legs if you can. If that's too much for the knees or the hips, you can always stagger the legs, but you want to try and reach underneath your ankle or underneath your shin. Opposite arm is going to glue in to your ear. Now reach your top arm super high and see if you can reach even further. Take a breath in, expanding the side of your body as you inhale. The knees and the hips press all the way down into the mat. And then inhale back up to the ceiling or the sky. Reach up and over, press your hips down. Inhale, sit tall to the sky. Good. Last one. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale, sit tall to the sky. And we're just going to bring that hand down to the mat and see if we can take a little counter stretch in the opposite direction. Bend your elbow, lengthen over with your left arm. And then bring yourself in. We'll take the legs around to the other side one more time and just do the same on the other side. Glue the left ear into the arm. Reach up and over as you inhale and bring yourself back up. Inhale, really stretch your sideways to go up and over, and then bring it back up. Push your hips down into the mat. Find that nice stretch in your sideways and bring it up. I still remember the first time I did this. I don't think I've ever had as much relief in my low back as doing this stretch. So if you have a lot of tension in the low back, this is a really good one to do. And then inhale back up. Your left arm is going to come to your mat. We're going to bend that elbow slightly. Reach the right arm over. Push the mat away from you. Maybe turn your gaze down a little bit. Get a little deeper into the stretch. And bring it back in. All right, so last two exercises. We have seal and we have the push-up, or we might just stand up to standing. Let's see what happens. All right, for the seal, just like we did with rolling like a ball. And again, let me turn the other way actually because of the sun. I'm going to do just a preparatory or preparation for the seal versus the full seal exercise. If you can, reach through and under your, I've lost my words. Reach through the legs, under the shins, and you're going to hold on just around your ankle or slightly above that. And the first step is just to balance again. So again, we don't even have to bring in movement. But if you feel fairly stable and comfortable here, pull the abdominals in, round a little bit more, and you're going to pull your belly back so much that you roll back and pull in deeper to roll up. Stabilize at the top. Maybe you hold onto your feet. Pull the abdominals back, rock up. Pause at the top. Again, balancing, finding control is the first part of this exercise, and it's not easy. Pull back, rock up. Nice. Last two here. Pull back, roll up. Pause. In the beginning, you want to avoid your neck for as long as you can. So we have one more of these, and I'm going to give you a really fancy transition to standing. We're going to pull the abdominals in, rock back, come up, release the feet, cross at the ankles or shins, and come all the way up, revolving round, standing in readiness for our last and final exercise is the Pilates push-up. Inhale the arms all the way up. Reach into your fingertips. Start to roll down bone by bone by bone until your feet come to the floor. Really suction the abdominals in against that roll down. And in 4 counts, see if you can walk out into a plank position. 2, 3, 4. Full plank. Hug the inner thighs together. Navel pulls into spine. Open the heart space. You have the option just to stay in your plank, or you can take a narrow push-up. Elbows hug in as you lower and lift. Pull the abdominals back up. Reach into your heels. Stabilize the hips as much as you can as you step the hands back towards your feet in about 4 counts. Press into the feet. Pull up from the abdominals to stand nice and tall. Hands release to the side. And we do that 2 more times. Inhaling, arms reach up. Exhaling, roll down. Belly pulls in. Walk out. 2, 3, 4. Reach into your heels. Stillness or push up. Inhale to come up. Exhale, reach it back. 1, 2. Pull the belly back to come all the way in. Press into the feet. Pull up with the core. Reach it up. And last 1. Inhaling. Exhaling. Rolling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plank. We lower. Push through. Pull back. Walk back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Roll it up. Release the hands, and you are all done. I hope we see you again. And until then, remember, Pilates makes every other movement in your body better. So take your Pilates with you. Don't just leave it on the mat, and utilize it throughout the rest of your day. Have a great one. Bye.